All started the meeting at 5:04. First thing on our agenda is approval of the meeting minutes from last month. You guys had a chance to look at them?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Look at the financials.
Wait, it's president's update.
Pardon me?
President's update?
Can hear you.
It's your
Oh,
update.
president's update?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that first.
Yeah.
Just wanted to cover a couple of things here first. Appreciate everybody joining us online and pretty short attendance here in our freezing home. We have a boiler issue, so we've got the house is conserving down to the mid-50s. So we'll move on here quickly. So I wanted everybody to know that we got the board up and running, fully in place. We've elected our officers as of last month, and we're currently going through our new board member induction, and also just clarifying each of the roles. Clarifying each of the roles for the officers, so we kind of know who's doing what to do. We had a failure this last week of a backflow valve, which impacted 2 days of operations. Sorry for the impact it's caused to the members, but I understand each of the events that were scheduled for those days have been rescheduled. Is that right, Nate?
Correct.
Okay. And Joey did a great job of getting us a new valve assembly, getting lining up with a plumber over the weekend. So really good kudos to him and the team for pulling that together. It also has inspired us and reminded us we need to get together our maintenance program and our inspection program so that we can help eliminate these failures, unknown failures in the future, and eliminate the impact of these happening. So today we the board spent a couple extra time with the leadership team to go over our planning objectives, performance measures, to get them clarified, and also to get them started measurements, and also get our objectives started for our longer range planning and for our forecasting our future. And so we've gone through that. We'll still need to do refining of that. And our intent is to try to have these performance measures and our objectives at least initiated in the first quarter, so we can start focusing on measuring their effectiveness in achieving that. So that's what we plan on doing in the next couple of months. I said budgets at this time of year, the commitment is to focus on the budget, get it outlined by the end of the year. And as everyone is aware, we have a lot of inflationary pressures on our budget, try to manage, and we also have some Colorado mandatory salaries that are being updated and will impact our salaries and some of our employees. So those are the big things that the management team is working on this month and next. We made quite an effort last year with the changes in a full membership. We took on time to look at kind of the overall impact of our golf course utilization, how we schedule our tee times, how we drive our member first priorities, and we announced in the fairway views several changes on how to address many of those issues, and so we're preparing with our with the pro shop to roll those out, and to also to monitor the impacts of those changes, see how they're working along with the pro shop, GT&H committee, and see if we need to make any adjustments. But we do appreciate everybody's time that they provided input about how we could make any improvements, and it's gonna be a learning curve, and we're looking forward to kind of monitoring that and seeing how those adjustments are improving our use of the golf course and availability for them. That's all I have. Some key decisions. We made a minor update to our finance committee charter. We approved that. We had given some instructions to the GT&H committee on expectations for how to schedule tournaments and avoid conflicts with the weddings, and essentially we drew up the tournaments first with the weddings kind of scheduled around so that we're all aligned, and we reviewed that today, and on the tournament schedule, the board will be looking at that minor updates tomorrow, and get that approved and published so everybody knows kind of what the schedule looks like. We also have a couple of full members that have requested to become professional members, and we, as you know, we have a waiting list on our professional members as we are transitioning down from what we had as a peak to what we targeted at 60. So we've adopted some guidelines on how to fit the members, full-time members into that professional wait list. And so we'll be rolling that out in order to be approved membership committee's recommendations on how to prioritize those going on the waiting list. Long range planning, Mike, do you want to talk to that?
Sure. Thanks, Gary. Going to just give a quick overview of long-range planning and what our focus is. We've really been working through a lot of details, and what we've done is we've structured this into 3 categories. One is the manor house. The second one is the campus, which is everything outside the manor house, but not the golf course, and then the course itself. And so just a quick update on the manor house, the kitchen HVAC system upgrade is scheduled for January of this year, of 2023. And so while we're closed down, hopefully we'll get that work all done. We're also looking at the men's room, restroom in the locker area down near the pro shop. That has been out of commission for several months, and we're working to get that back into commission. One of the toilets in that room. We're also studying an ADA handicap restroom on the main level. We think we need to try to solve that problem since we don't have one anywhere on the course. And we're defining a deferred maintenance program. We're starting to work on developing some guidelines and procedures to be sure that we've got structure and control in place there. On the campus, the long-range planning has a subcommittee that is working on defining what projects may be considered for that before we move forward into a master plan. And then on the course, phase 1, the 18th green and bunkers and approach area is complete. Phase 2, 18th fairway and cart paths is being sodded right now, and I don't know, Jason may talk a little bit more about that. But we're probably 1/3 of the way through, or 2/3 of the way through the sodding out there, and it should be completed in the next few days. And then phase 3 practice complex on the island is scheduled to be complete spring, early summer of 2023. Additionally, on the course, Jason is working through a study on the spillway where we're going to have to make some improvements based on what state requirements will be. So that's just a real quick overview of long-range planning.
Thank you, Mike.
It's only one slide. Okay.
Good, Mike.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, real quick, Lori here for a finance update with actual numbers through October. And we are in general ahead of the budget by $12,000. We had a little bit of a shortcomings, I guess, in October, you'd say. Some of them were built on with a budget with including some weddings that were not booked when we created the budget, which is very common and totally appropriate. And then they ended up just not getting booked. So we're a little short on the food and beverage sales for weddings and other general sales. But coming up in November, we have some private events that are going to backfill that. And then hopefully we expect to beat budget in November. So we also have a little bit higher October payroll costs that just for higher salaries and some greater quarter 3 commissions. In the positive end, our pro shop had is it $16,000 ahead for the month. I think it was also even 16,000 short for the whole year, but 16,000 for the month. Increased guest fees and cart fees due to the nice weather that October saw. And then we also had merchandise sales strong for October in the pro shop area. So currently we're ahead. That bottom line there, kind of the biggest comparison part to look at is an actual dollars of 187,000 net operating income to a budget of 174 and a forecast of 171. So we expect hopefully November will be a strong month and we'll trend still ahead on forecast with our actions. And that's all.
Okay.
Anything else, Dan, you want to add?
No, I think we're good. I mean, actually, some of these things, I think we, particularly the weddings, we sort of built that into the forecast because we've known about these for several months. So you saw, like, I think when I put in Fairway Views, I talked about it last month as far as that, so we had a higher than expected net operating income through September, and that we expected that to run a deficit for the last 3 months of the year, which will get us, as Roy said, right to about our forecast.
Dan, can I get a motion?
Yes, can I move to approve the October financials?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Hey, Gary, can I ask a question about the financials while we're there?
I don't recognize that accent.
No.
Yeah, I'm an interloper. So I have a quick question for you guys. With inflation, and I apologize, I was a little late onto the call, so I apologize if you've already dealt with this. With inflation running at 8%, my guess is that in order to cover costs and all the things we want to do, that we're going to have to increase dues next year. Do you have a view on that already, or are you still thinking about that?
Nate, could you take that one?
Yeah, we're definitely taking that in consideration, and obviously with cost of living, with everything that's happening in the economy, it's impacting a lot of the decisions we're making. We haven't come to a definite number or percentage yet on what that increase will be, but yes, you can expect a very nominal one at some point. We'll make that public, obviously, but nothing definite set in stone yet. It's just the first round of the budgets at this point.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Ted. Featured employee of the month.
Yeah, sure is.
Who is that? Well, we're very fortunate to have Nate with us. Joined us in July. Here's some of his factoids about how really are you that old? Oh man, from Minnesota, highly qualified, and has been making a great impact on the club since you came in July. And some interesting facts about your hobbies and where you like to fish, and also some of the places that you've had a chance to golf at. I'm fairly jealous of that. Other slides.
Yeah, this is the second one on just him.
I'm sorry,
This is just the second one on him,
Oh,
and then
okay.
this is the one that went yours. Yeah.
golf trips,
Wait, before you go on, I gotta hear one of these stories about Keith.
Oh, that's just,
I keep it interesting.
it's every meeting, it's every time I stop in the golf shop, it's, as I'm walking to my car at night, it's just, you don't stop laughing when you're talking to this guy, so.
Gotta keep them on his toes.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna come out of his mouth next, so I try to forecast that, but it always surprises me every time.
I need to see a picture of your dad.
I've got a couple.
Well, I guess I have questions for you. Your dad's a professional wrestler, he had to be pretty big, how could you be so skinny there?
That was the question all the way through high school too. Everybody always asked me that, but it was the eighties and there might have been some steroids involved. I can't confirm or deny that.
I don't have the rest of his ears.
He does not have the rest of
You
it.
wrestle against Andre the Giant.
He used to work out with Jesse the Body Ventura, Flash Morton, Kurt Henning. All the Henning brothers are from Minnesota as well, so it was a pretty small circle of wrestlers up there that he got to know pretty well. It was an interesting childhood being involved with all that, so.
Governor Venture.
Governor, exactly, yes, that's what it's referred to now.
So. Really wanted to recognize that, one, the nominating committee made a great choice in picking Nate to join us. He's had a few months now to kind of listen to his team and the members, and you kind of get to know what the fun's all about, who we are and who we're not. I found that great, Nate is a really good listener. I really appreciate when you talk with Nate, he listens, he's engaged, he's not diverted on his phone. He really wants to know what's important to you. And as a member and as leader of the team, he expresses how important it is to hear and to listen to you and understand and take that on as part of what is his leadership role. We've already seen his experience as he's working with his team, unifying the team, bringing these some new opportunities for us to solve some old problems. He wants us to be a successful club. He's engaged and he's helping the board also focus on the future. And he's also given us a little bit of space because he's leading his team, he's taking care of operations. And he's given us that space to kind of move forward. So it's a good hand in glove that the management team and the board are working together and taking on each of the roles. But if you haven't had a chance to sit down and talk with Nate, just really appreciate you reaching out to him, letting him know what you like, what you don't like, and your opinions so that he can bring it into his team and help make this a great successful club. So we really appreciate Nate being on board and we look forward to some great times working together.
Thank you.
All right, this is Keith. Anyone there on the line? So as you can imagine, things are definitely slowing down in the golf world, but that also means it's time to game plan for a couple things. Just run through our bullet points on the slide. So always like to take a little time to focus on the financials. It's your money and it definitely matters. We did have a nice October and that was really helpful in guest fees and playing a little catch up on some budget deficits that we ran throughout the season. So thank you for bringing those guests. We did actually quite a bit of guest participation and we had some reduced guest fees as we didn't have an 18th hole in the play. So most guests were paying about $15 to $20 less than they typically would, and we still ran well over budget there. Some golf specific updates. So this is the planning time for the season. So the GTH committee, as well as the board, has been looking closely at the 2023 tournament schedule, making sure that those are successful events, but also not overall taking away a ton of time for those members that don't participate in tournaments. That's something that we really do consider carefully. We've started to form some of our league steering committees and adding some members and some new exciting ideas to those. Just starting to get together and start meeting for the 2023 season. And then, of course, both the men's and women's invitational, those committees, that's a lot of work that goes into making those events successful. So they're starting to meet as well and game planning for the 2023 season also. Gary alluded to it, but a couple of real big changes that we focused on in fair reviews this last month, that are all very impactful to the golf operation. So when we come out of winter hibernation there in February, some key impactful changes, I want to take a second to walk through those as well. So Friday is becoming a weekend. The primary change to that is the guest play restrictions on Friday. We only allow one guest in a tee time before noon on Saturdays and Sundays. That will now include Fridays as well. We are shifting to a 14-day booking window. So rather than 7 days for weekdays and 5 days for weekends, we're going to book 14 days in advance. That's a big change. The reason for that change is we saw that most of our competitive clubs had a much wider booking window than we had. We were experiencing a lot of compaction, especially on that 5-day weekend booking window. So we hope to give the tee sheet a little more time to evolve. With that, X's are going to come off that tee sheet 7 days in advance. So if you're looking for a tee time, you're going to have a whole lot more time to let that tee sheet evolve. You'll know where members are actually playing and when those tee times are really going to be utilized, so you can better plan out your week. And one of the other big changes, we've had a 6-round guest policy for many years now, but not overall very well enforced. We shifted that to 8 for a regular guest, 12 for a family guest. But something that you will see is this will be enforced in coming years. So this is something that we're going to keep a close eye on within the GTNH committee and the golf operations team. And we'll be reaching out to you if you have a guest that's starting to get close to that limit, so you can keep an eye on that. But expect some communication from us if you happen to bring a real regular guest who we greatly appreciate, but we'll be managing that a whole lot closer next year. Upcoming events, Christmas sale. We're going to run throughout the month of December. We'll have a sale going in the golf shop. So we'll have the discounts on the Christmas tree where you can come in, pull a discount off the tree and save when you select some items to purchase. But also the Christmas party with some special sale elements there will be December 17th. So that's the same day as Santa brunch. So bring the family for Santa brunch, then come down and have a cocktail with your golf pros. You have a cocktail, we'll be sober-ish. And that is it for me if there's no questions. All right, thank you all.
Good evening, everyone. A little frozen still, so my coordination might be off, might stutter a little bit. I've been outside blowing out the irrigation system today. It's been a bit chilly and a surprise little snowstorm. So as everyone mentions, the season winds down, but this is an extremely busy time for us in the maintenance department in terms of preparing the golf course for the winter, whether that be the plant protectants that go down, the fungicides, blowing out the irrigation system so that we don't have any major issues with freezing and pipe damage there. Plus, we still have 18 project going on. So, really, I would say the golf course navigated the fall very well. The last couple of weeks, we've been able to get it light sand top dressing out on the greens, tees, and approaches, which is going to be beneficial. Excuse me, in the spring. We've got our winter cups cut, so there are three cups cut in each green, and we will rotate those. Maintenance will do that and continue to provide somewhat of a direction with where that goes when the golf course is open. Staffing wise, we have dropped down to seasonal staff, and I will be losing Carlos Perez, one of my TN employees. He's going to head back to Mexico at the end of this month with a desire to come back next year for sure. And also bring along a couple of his classmates that he went to school with. So it's been a good little conduit for us to get some quality guys. So looking forward to that. From a project standpoint, number 18, Modern Golf, since we last spoke, has gotten the drainage installed, the irrigation installed, the shaping done for hole number 18, basically the landing area. Irrigation's been installed, drainage has been installed, I'm sorry. Topsoil's back out, and they've sodded the last couple of days. So we started sodding on Friday, Saturday. We were scheduled to saw some today, but this little snowstorm has kind of put a blip in that, so we'll get on that, once we're able to do so. And then internally, the team itself has started to do some landscape upgrades up by the clubhouse where we removed an overgrown holly. And then just kind of tie that landscape theme in, with some grasses. And some bulbs that we'll plant also as well, so hopefully we'll see some daffodils and some tulips next spring. Given that the deer don't devour them before they actually flower, they do say deer, let's say resistant, but I don't buy any of that stuff. As I noticed today, there was a big buck that walked through on some of our smaller little trees up on the left side of number 18 and shredded all those, so some of that stuff I was hoping to transplant, he got to those. And then irrigation project on number 13 that we completed along the cart path that got soldered and installed, and then another one that I think everyone will be excited about next year. We'll be able to grow some turf left of number 5, where everyone really pulls up on the cart path and tracks down to the green and above that bunker, so we'll be able to sustain some turf up there. But all in all, really happy with how things are going. Just need Mother Nature to cooperate a little bit, a few more days, so we can get all our irrigation blown out. And one of the things last year, it's really weather dependent, as I've said, hopefully enough. A lot of what we do is dictated by Mother Nature, and us being able to be quite flexible with that is important. So we looked at the lows this week. I mean, it was 70 degrees less than 10 days ago. Then we caught 3 days of wind, and then now we're going to catch a couple days where the highs will be in the low, really the low 20s, upper teens, and then the lows down into the single digits. So just trying to be adaptive to that and adjust things. So, any questions?
Great job.
Oh, and here's a beautiful picture too. So there's 3 of them. So what we're looking at right now is a view from the peninsula, looking at the landing area of number 18. And the sod that's going in the finished work that's being prepped for that. So what's really difficult to see in a photo is I would call it the dimension. So on the right side of the image, there's a blue tractor. And there's actually a tier there. So when you're playing 18, the goal would be to land up on that tier, just short of that bunker. But this is just a picture or an image taken, I think it was last night actually, or 2 days ago before that sod went down.
That's the new bunker, right?
New bunker on the right-hand side, yep. And then another similar shot. And the third image is the sod company laying out the sod. So they bring those in large rolls. Basically it's like a 36-inch wide roll they can roll out, and it's much easier for large areas, much easier to work with, much faster to work with for them, and also will I want to say knit in but seam in much better. So
Hey everyone, Glenn here, thanks for coming out tonight. So our count to cap right now is 306 to 315. That was actually the end of October. So still leading in full memberships. And we are at our professional cap. So in October, we had a very strong month. So 2 full golf memberships, 2 junior, 6 social, and 1 social to full conversion, which is always great to see. Our FME, full member equivalence, is 276 to a 271.9 budget, so we're trending ahead in that line. And currently we've got we collected 1,122 lead information in 2022. Our initiation fees are still at 12 for full, 6 for junior, 5 for professional. We are on the wait list, and 500 for social. So currently we've got 545 members, 177 social and social centennial. Last year around this time we had around 120. So we are trending up in social memberships. We're seeing a big spike, which is great. I say thanks to Chef and his team for the food for sure, Kevin for the events. Members are talking about our club and they're referring their friends, so I say it's a win-win. As far as the budget goes, we are still at a budget for the year. For December, our FME budget is around 268, and it looks like we are going to be above that, 4 or 5 above that. So still looking good for the end of the year. For resignations, currently this year we've had 43 total golf resignations. That includes professional, and then 25 social resignations. We're still around on track for our budget resignations for the year. But as you can see, still the same reason that people are resigning is due to moving. This month, also medical issues, we just didn't use. But for professional, 50% of the resignations are due to non-use. So. Our resignated percentages, we did have a lot of resignations in October. So many that we were able to clear our 10 list. So we don't have any full members waiting to be refunded. However, we are doing well as far as the total rate. We're still at 10. If we go over 10% for the year, we will have maximized our resignation percentage rate. However, I think we will be at 10 for the rest of the year. We want to thank our new members in October. We had some returning members, quite a few returning members, and then some junior members, which is great to see. So we want to definitely welcome these new members. As for marketing and communication, we were able to send out a postcard to 1,266 Larkspur residents, and we were able to fill 2 of our open houses. We had a very strong membership month in November, but I'll talk about that next month. We are still advertising on Instagram and Facebook. If you haven't seen our beloved Keith, we're doing weekly videos, letting us know about how we can fix our golf swing or just help it a little, hopefully. And then also we are also posting from the business office some random facts on Facebook. If you didn't know, so please follow us on Facebook at the Member Hub. We do have a full special campaign going for all of our lead listings. That's going to pull in potential junior members. So that's been doing great. We were able to acquire several memberships on the special so far. We do have over 4,200 active email contacts. So if we ever have a special or an opportunity to play, these are legitimate leads who reach out to us or we gather their information that could somehow in the future be a potential member, if not right now because of timing. So that's all I got for membership. Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
Good evening, guys. This is Chef here. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the new menu items that we put on the menu recently. I'm gonna go through our top 3 updates. I'm gonna skip some on the clubhouse projects because we've already covered most of that stuff. We did have a water pressure issue at the club. It kind of deteriorated through the week. Ended up not having water for about 24 hours, but that is all solved. Member events, we do have a clubhouse decorating coming up on 11/28. Just gonna get the clubhouse ready for the holiday season. We've got several reservations already for our candlelight and snowball and our Santa brunch. Just working on getting all that stuff put together. Kevin's doing a great job with decorating out here, and you know, we've got a great menu put together for all 3 of those. So if you haven't signed up, go ahead and sign up as soon as possible. And then for staffing, we do have Rosie from Max's. She's working the bar a couple times a week just to help out. And as of right now, the kitchen's working with the core team. Just the same people that we've carried over for the last 5-6 years. And just working on getting getting ready for the HVAC project this January. I'm looking forward to that for the spring and summer season. It's gonna be great having air conditioning in the kitchen. So thank you everybody for the support on that. That's all I've got. Unless that was got with. Here's the menus up posted right now. So,
I have a quick question.
go ahead.
How are we doing on the wedding ratings? I remember we used to get those. I'm not sure where to look for those. I probably have to try and book a wedding, which I'm not trying to do, but I wonder how we're doing.
Yeah, we've actually haven't received a wedding rating in over a year on Google, so it's been a while. So we have to talk with Caitlin and see if she's actively pursuing that feedback from them. We've heard great things word of mouth, but I think there's a lot of opportunity there to see that they're all 5 stars, everything we've got except for one. And the one 4-star we got was because Golf Shop didn't give them a discount. And I don't think that's where the 1-star demerit, but I think everything that we've done this year, we're trending, we've already have 9 on the books for 2023. Half of those are Caitlin's, and she's been actively looking at looking at different wedding websites. She's actually been meeting with bridal boutiques and just getting the framework ready for 2023. And we're probably forecasting that around 15 to 16 right now is what we're looking at in the budget. So a good increase, and she's actually got a great site fee increase happening next year as well. So it's trending in the right direction.
Okay, thanks.
All right, you have any other questions? Member comments? All right, thanks, guys.
Do you have any member comments? We're all kind of sitting here frigid, cold. Appreciate all the updates and hard work the team's gone into getting us ready and presenting. Also wanted to give the board members a couple of moments to recognize any members that have particularly been helpful this last month. And I'll just open it up to the board members if you have anybody to recognize.
Gary Aldred, this is David. I'd just like to recognize Les Wells throughout the project with the new HVAC system. Les has been instrumental in helping us from the start, including recently. As you might imagine, there's a lot of planning and preparation in the weeks leading up to the install in early January, and Les has done a great job of kind of monitoring all of the progress on that.
This is Mike Palumbo. I'd like to recognize a couple of people. One, Steve Hamline, who has jumped in and has been facilitating our research on a master plan and focusing on some of the areas that we need to be looking at for future opportunities. And he's led a team doing that. So I want to thank him for that. And I also want to thank Teal Heath, who is one of our social members who has been helping us out and understanding what it would take to get Wi-Fi out on the course. And since I know nothing about it, I can't speak to it other than she is helping Nate go forward on that.
All right, well, I appreciate everybody attending and that was cold weather and ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everybody. Night, board.
I'd just like to remind everybody in the room